Welcome to this panel from Frankfurt's Licht der Film Festival from the heart of the city. My name is 𝗡𝗵𝗵. I'm a radio journalist for German broadcasting ARD, and our topic is defending freedom, support for Ukraine, with these guests. Olga Koshema from Kiev, now based in Berlin, Filmmakers for Ukraine. And here in Frankfurt is also 𝗍𝗶𝗃𝗃 from 𝗓𝗏 United. He represents also the initiative Filmmakers for Ukraine. Online we have Mark Wilkins. He's a Swiss filmmaker based in Kiev right now. #U4Ukraine, and also 𝗪𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏, film producer from Ukraine. Before I introduce our guests, let me put some words first on the actual situation. In this war of aggression that Putin is waging on Ukraine, journalists and filmmakers are extremely challenged. In addition to the accounts of those attacked, it is their reports, pictures and films produced at the risk of their lives that show the world what is happening in Ukraine. Terror against civilians, victims caused by the targeted and widespread shelling of homes and civilian facilities by the Russian army, displacement, fight and resistance. To support their colleagues in Ukraine, the 𝗪𝗏𝗃𝗵𝗃 e.V., ag.doc, the German Film Academy, the German Academy for Television, and 𝗓𝗏 United have launched a fundraising initiative, Support Filmmakers Ukraine. As we all know, filmmakers and of course journalists are giving the world a picture of the war of extermination that Putin is commanding and risking their lives. They are in very urgent need of support. So we will get some insights from these participants, like I mentioned, Olga, Mark, Oliver and Natalia. And I think, Olga, could you please introduce yourself first?
Hi guys, I'm Olga. I'm a first AD from Kiev, Ukraine. I've been doing filmmaking basically my whole life because I'm a second generation. I think I'm a good representation of the fantastic Ukrainian filmmaking traditions of families, 2-3 generations working in filmmaking. I fled to Berlin in the beginning of spring, and right now I'm trying to do my best to raise awareness about what's going on, to support my colleagues who also had to leave their hometowns and home country. Yes, and I'm also volunteering for the front as well.
𝗍𝗏𝗃𝗃, who is here on stage, is the founder and managing director of 𝗓𝗏 United. Could you please say a few words to the work you're doing right now?
Okay, I try. I have to mention that I'm always aware of not being the one who had to leave their homeland from one day to another to change the life. So I'm not feeling comfortable sitting on a stage. So let's make it short. We have with 𝗓𝗏 United. It's important to say that we are setting up a European network, and we started in the east. We started in Poland, and now we started in Lithuania and in Romania. So I was aware with the beginning of the war, we have actually 3 borders to the Ukraine. So I called Irina, which is head of 𝗓𝗏 United Poland, 3 days after the war, and asked her, should we do anything? And she said she's already doing something. So she was working the whole day. And so we meet on Monday morning and had the idea, okay, let's do that, what we can do best. Let's collect, let's get people together, let's collect informations, let's check them, and let's publish them. So that was the beginning. A couple of hours later, we bought the Filmmakers for Ukraine domain, and one day later the first version of the website was online, and we started growing, working with volunteers from a lot of European countries together, meeting every day in the morning. So that was what we started. Now it's the 78th? 78th?
78th or
78 or 79th day, so it's a long time, yeah.
Thanks, Oliver. 𝗪𝗶𝗶𝗃𝗵𝗃, she worked for international companies, mainly from the USA and Germany. Works now as a producer, is based in the Ukraine. I don't know exactly where. Hello, Natalia. Can you tell us where are you and how are you doing?
Hi everyone. Yeah, I'm actually originally from Lviv, which is in the west of Ukraine, and I lived in Kiev since 1994. Right now, I'm in Vilnius, so I'm talking to you from Lithuania.
Thanks. Mark is a Swiss filmmaker who used to live in Zurich, but now he's based in Kiev, and he brought us some actual short films. Mark, hello.
Hi, hello, hi. So yes, thank you very much for putting this panel together. Everybody who stands behind it. I moved to Kiev because I fell in love with the creative society of Ukraine. I came to Kiev the first time 16 years ago as a filmmaker for a production service as a director. And after the revolution, 2014, I just wanted to be at no other place than in Kiev. I moved from New York, where I was living at that time, to Kiev, and had the honor to become part of the creative community in Kiev. And now I am back in Kiev. I was in Lviv for the first few weeks of the war, then in a little village outside of Kiev, and since yesterday, my wife and I decided to go back into our city apartment, try to help that life continues in Kiev.
You brought us 3 short films. I think we could watch them now, and you could just comment on them. Let's see number 1 from this series.
Hello, I'm Koля. I'm 33 years old. I'm from the Donetsk region. I like to travel with my girlfriend. I like to see new places, new countries, and it was really great life. I worked in the public sector. I helped my family with the managing of our small pharmacy business, and my family's pharmacy was destroyed by Russian missiles. My grandfather was hit by Russian missiles, and it's hard because his body wasn't found. Time to time, I'm thinking that the war, it's just a bad dream, and I want to wake up. I started the campaign for searching the money for the SUV or minibus, and I bought an old but good condition Toyota. Through some friends, through some social medias, I'm searching for the people in need. I'm bringing them humanitarian aid, and I'm bringing them some food. I'm bringing them some diesel and gas generators. I'm bringing them some medical stuff. And take the people in need, for example, in a safe place. I will be driving and helping people in need until the end of the war, until our victory. You can help me with the money for petrol, for food, for car repairs and details, and I will do my job until our victory. When the war is over, I want to go to my home village, hug my mom, and plant walnut trees. Walnuts are like grain, small and hard to crack.
Yeah, Mark?
Yes, I would like to say something. Maybe first, we watch the other 2 films later, if there is still some time. Right. I don't want to kind of take too much space with those films. Maybe quickly, a quick explanation how those films happened. The first few weeks, I was totally lost. I didn't know what to do, how to continue my life. You know, I didn't feel creative at all. I couldn't listen to music and look at photographs, or absolutely wasn't able to watch movies. But then my Swiss film production partners asked me if we can do something together. And we decided to make those short documentaries, which are fundraising films, but at the same time, transport my own kind of admiration for the people of Ukraine, and give the people of Ukraine, in a way, that this charisma, which I find so wonderful, a voice through those films. And so we created 14 of those films so far, which can be seen on youforukraine.ch. And if it's desired, I'm happy to speak more about it later in our conversation.
You're welcome, yes. To speak about the situation for filmmakers and journalists, what we know, the support for you and other filmmakers and of course journalists in Ukraine can be seen, for example, in the provision of technical equipment and as well protective clothing. But let me ask you, what is main important at the moment?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to, I guess I should start with the fact that there are now kind of two types of filmmakers who stay back home in Ukraine. There are the ones who are documenting things that are going on, and the other ones who were forced to take arms in their hands. And of course, those two groups of people have quite different needs. And for those people at the front, it could be something major like ordering or buying them a drone, or cars right now are in high demand because a car at the front has a very short period of life. And for the others, they always need some hard drives. They always need some space, some cloud storage, because it's important. Human attention is such a diva, you know. One day you're focusing and following what's going on in Ukraine every day, and the other day, I don't know, Will Smith slaps somebody and you're in a whole different dimension. So what they do right now is actually very important because they remind people that this is still going on, and they help all the atrocities being brought back to light.
Natalia, same question to you. What is the most important thing is needed for filmmakers and journalists and your friends?
Yeah, I would support Olga's vision of how filmmakers now are doing different tasks and involved in different activities. I would say, like, just this morning, I read an interview with several documentary filmmakers who are filming and documenting what's happening in Ukraine in different cities, in Kyiv, in Chernihiv, in Zaporizhzhia, Kharkiv, you know, Lviv, also in the west, like Lviv, 𝗪𝗺𝗃. And one of them actually got under attack when he was in his car. I think it was near Kharkiv, or I don't remember now where exactly, but the bullets got into his bulletproof vest, and that's how he got survived. So I think that for filmmakers, whether they're in the front or whether they're documenting, it's important to have the full army gear on them, like helmets and bulletproof vests and special shoes and, you know, like things that they can provide some security, at least for some time, to them while they're filming or they're traveling in Ukraine. I think that's important, first of all. And of course, I'm also involved in the community which is called 𝗓𝗿𝗵𝗃𝗵𝗃, and there is always a need for batteries, for hard disks, for lenses, for additional cameras. You know, there is like equipment, film equipment need too. So this, I think, are two most important needs: the security or safety gear and equipment for filming.
Thanks, Natalia. Mark, what would you add? What could you add to this question?
I think it was very well explained by Natalia and by Olga. I think what I want to underline is also this kind of this attention, you know, to be in touch, to not get used to it. And you know, you are abroad, you are somewhere, you are maybe not connected to Ukraine. Stay in touch. I think it's very important for the people who are in Ukraine, the filmmakers, the journalists, that they don't feel left alone, you know, and this, to give attention, it doesn't cost you anything, you know, it's just simply following somebody on Instagram and sending a comment. You know, I really sometimes feel that this incredible success of the Ukrainian army and the volunteers fighting against the invasion, a very big part of the success is this attention. You know, in the beginning, I was a bit disgusted by all those buildings around the world which were lit yellow and blue. I thought, like, how can, you know, close the sky? This is what we need. We don't need the Empire State Building or the Eiffel Tower be lit yellow and blue. But I think now I start to understand that it's so important for the people who are fighting to see, to feel that there are millions of people behind them. And that's also important for the filmmakers and the journalists in the front lines.
Thanks. Oliver, what could you add from this German point of view?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to add something Mark taught us when he joined the Zoom meeting, that it's very important that when we help the people who had to leave the country, the refugees, that we always help them for getting back one day. It's never like we help you here to stay here. So we changed the website actually, because this is a very important thing. We help you, but we believe and we hope. No, we believe in the end of the war and in a returning in a free Ukraine. I would like to add that we had from the first day, we had this a mail address, mail@Filmmakers for Ukraine, and we spread the word, please write us if you need help, if you need anything. And I have to say the content of the mails and the needs in the mails changed with the weeks. Of course, the first 2-3 weeks, it was about this bulletproof vest, it was about hard drive disk, all this stuff. And then, yeah, then it was the question of where can I get my food? Where can I get medicine? I don't know what the situation actually now is, but we have a lot of people who actually need money to buy food or to get medicine. But I think, Olga, you said a lot of medicine is not available in the Ukraine, so this is really a problem. So it changed definitely.
So we are now close before the Cannes Film Festival starts next week. What could we expect probably from initiatives who are in Cannes supporting filmmakers in the Ukraine? Do you know anything, Oliver?
Yes, because I think you can read it in the press that Cannes itself does a lot of stuff. They invited 6 producers. I think they put focus on 14 films. I don't know exactly. They have 1 day for the Ukraine. I think it's the 21st. We are in Cannes. We, together with Location Guide from London, we sell little pins for €10. So we hope we sell enough to have €20,000 to give it to the Ukraine. Deadline will make a big party Saturday evening where they invite all the really rich people and they want to donate us the money. Let's see. There will be a lot, and I think there will be a lot of people showing the whole day that they are here as well for Ukraine. So I think it will be, yeah, it will be great, hopeful.
That sounds great. Mark, the footage you shot, I think there's probably there is a lot more you could use at the moment in this in these short films. What is planned, perhaps, or is it too early to think about that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think those short films, they are really shot to be short. You know, they are also shot on iPhones, because it's at the moment also difficult to shoot in Ukraine. You know, if you're shooting in a country at war and you're fiddling around with a camera, you are attracting a lot of attention. And also the attention, you know, of military or police, like what are you filming? So in those little documentaries, we kept it very small, like very, you know, little iPhone. And quite often I was then approached by some soldiers and I had to delete the material on the iPhone, which is absolutely all right. I understand that war things are different. So I don't think that we are going to turn this into a big documentary. I think that there are a lot of incredible documentary filmmakers at the moment out there in Ukraine, creating, you know, very important documents of what is happening. So we're just continuing to make those short documentaries until victory. But I'm not planning to make a long film. I must say that I for myself, I feel really patriotic, even if I don't really speak even Ukrainian, but it was very important for me to come back to Kiev, to stay here, to live here, to be in my apartment with my wife. But I also understood that part of my resistance is to continue with my other projects. So I'm actually now at the moment working again with a writer in New Zealand and a writer in Germany on a project I'm working on since 10 years. Because I don't want that Russians are able to stop me from continuing my creative work, even if this work is not directly connected to the war at the moment. So I keep on fundraising, I keep on supporting actually one other documentary film project about the invasion, but me, myself, I'm at the moment, besides You for Ukraine, continuing other film projects.
Thanks. Natalia, to speak about the footage, have you filmed yourself, or what do you know from your friends what they do at the moment, filming, documenting the situation?
I'm a producer. I'm not a filmmaker. I can do like small videos and pictures on my phone, and this is the biggest thing actually I can do. So yeah, my friends and colleagues, they are filming, as I have already told, and they're all like united. They support each other, and they, you know, it's like this community of filmmakers. They know where and why everyone, almost like everyone, is at the particular time, just in case to rush and to rescue people, if colleagues and friends, if it's needed. And it's I think the Ukrainian community of filmmakers got even more united because of the full-scale war in Ukraine, and yeah, we all help each other like different ways. Even like a small piece of information sometimes can be really helpful. Or like if you like there is a request who is driving from Lviv to Kiev and from Kiev to, I don't know, Chernihiv, there is a lens or a battery should be transported, or some shootage, or how to upload footage to a secure online server. So all these small needs and requests are like answered immediately because of this unity and understanding that together will defeat the enemy. I would also like to, if it's okay with you guys, to elaborate on the events in Cannes. So 𝗪𝗶𝗹𝗶 was so great to help Ukrainian filmmakers to arrange Ukraine in Focus on Saturday, on the 21st of May, as well as the next day on the 22nd. On Sunday, on the 22nd of May, and there will be several presentations. First of all, the Cannes doc will have a presentation of 4 Ukrainian documentaries in post-production, like work in progress in editing and post-production stage. And there are several of them are about the war, which is actually Russian Federation has been throwing it at us since 2014. And some of other films are also like about peace and Ukrainian society and Ukrainian characters themselves. So, of course, the 6 producers will meet their colleagues at breakfast on Saturday too, and I'm proud to be one of them. Then we're gonna have 2 presentations of Ukrainian features also in post-production. One of them is like Talent Black Goes to Cannes, and another one is Ukrainian features presentation, and both organized by Tallinn Black Nights Film Festival. And I think there's also going to be a panel discussion. So like Saturday is really packed with Ukrainian events at the Marché du Film, at the Riviera and the Palace. And then on Sunday, there is a very special presentation called Ukrainian Films Now, which is organized by 𝗢𝗹𝗶𝗃𝗏, by When East Meets West, and by First Cut Lab. They're bringing together funds and co-producers, and also they're devoting several awards for the post-production for these films, and it's going to be a very special gathering, and it's like all about gap financing that Ukrainian films in post-production are really need right now. So I think there's 2 major days and several events at Marché, and of course the Ukrainian film pavilion is going to be working at the Riviera and the village, film village, and there are several events organized there too by the Ukrainian State Film Agency and some film industry associations in Ukraine. So that's, I think I told everything I knew.
I would like to add, or I would like to ask Natalia, because yesterday in the evening I read on Facebook that here it says, but official schedule of Festival de Cannes reveals last-minute edition, the final 𝗪𝗶𝗹𝗏 2 by Mantas,
𝗪𝗶𝗹𝗏𝗃.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, who
Mantas
died there. So is this real? Will this be? Yes. Or do you know about it?
Yes.
Okay.
It's 60 minutes. It's a documentary, and it's made out of the footage Mantas, together with his partner 𝗪𝗶𝗹𝗏𝗏, collected on his way through Ukraine to Mariupol, and in Mariupol before he was brutally, tortured and killed. And it's his legacy. And Anna, she did an incredible job, an incredible travel through Russia to Lithuania to bring, to bring Mantas and his footage to his friends and colleagues in Vilnius, and then to put it together into 60-minute film, and to present it to the audience in Cannes. And the co-producers of his previous film, 𝗪𝗶𝗹𝗏𝗏, are involved into this incredible piece, incredible thing. Just unbelievably that it was possible to do. And yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's yeah.
Olga, can you tell us about something you perhaps filmed during you went away from the Ukraine, or?
I really was on my phone all the time, but I did not film almost anything because there's like this thing when such like global events happen, your first instinct is to like, what the hell is going on? And the second instinct, mine, for instance, was, okay, what I can do. So the first thing that I did, I was just like, I know people who know people, so I started coordinating information. But in the meantime, I saw, because I stayed with my parents at the time, I saw that it was really hard for my mother to see what's going on, to see the destruction when the bombs started hitting civilian targets, not just military targets. So I focused on taking pictures that were positively charged, because it's kind of, first of all, it's important for your own well-being, and secondly, it is important to understand that we traditionally are we have a good sense of humor, and the fact that we are able to lift our spirits and stay positive even in such dark hours, it's kind of important to share that around as well, I think.
What is your biggest wish for the next weeks and month?
I will keep it nice and tight. I want this to really be over, because I really want to go back home and try to rebuild what we lost, because there are so many things that I didn't know I care about. Like many people, I didn't like my high school, and then there's a bomb that fell near my high school, and I'm just like, I'm getting back there. I'm renovating the place. I'm doing like everything in my power to keep it as it is. And at the same time, I really want the people who basically discovered Ukraine through that events to keep asking the questions, to keep finding out who we are, and to know that we're just like not a new nation, we're not actually a new country. We have amazing history, amazing traditions, and I really want that people that are not from Ukraine do not forget us once it's over.
Thanks. Can I put the same question on Natalia and Mark as well? What's your biggest wish for the next month or weeks?
This direction. Natalia, you want to go first?
I want home. No, I want, I don't know, my wish is Russian invaders out of my country immediately. You know, if I had a magic wound, I would use it for that, but that's my very biggest wish. But in reality, I'm gonna spend like around a week at the Cannes Film Festival, and I really want to make steps into securing financing for my film, which is in post-production, to secure some financing for the team I'm working with, and for myself too, and to make sure that Ukrainian filmmakers are heard, and then our voice is strong, and it's in all possible media and in all possible directions, spread in Cannes, in France, in the European Union, in the United States, and worldwide. And I want my country to prosper and to be independent and free. So, yeah, this is it.
Thanks. Mark?
Yes, of course. I mean, the first thing is we want victory. You know, we cannot say, or I cannot say, we want the war to be over. I know sometimes this is what some people in the Western world, and especially in Germany, sometimes just say like, don't you just want it to be over? Doesn't matter who owns which territory, just want it to be over. It's when you look into the history of Ukraine and the relationship between Ukraine and Russia, it's very clear that there's only one way out without having an ongoing war for the next decades, you know, is the victory of Ukraine. So I wish the victory of Ukraine will happen with as little casualties and sacrifices as quickly as possible. But this is the magic wand, you know, Natalia is talking about. I'm afraid it will take some time to get the invaders out of Ukraine. So my wish is that the world is gonna get even more united, you know, behind Ukraine, with Ukraine. I'm just so you know, grateful that even, you know, Australia is sending military equipment to Ukraine, and the whole world is supporting Ukraine. I hope that the world is growing together and understands that peace is something we need to fight for, and we need peace, but you need to fight for peace. I think this is it. I cannot say more. A partnership, unity, peace, and victory for the democratic humanist world. Yeah, that's what I want, what I wish.
Thanks a lot.
I wanted to quickly add something to Natalia, because one thing about what I love so much about the people of Ukraine and why I moved here is how humble the people are, you know, not showing off what they're doing. But I want to just to say it here, with Natalia is one of the most incredible new producers, you know, of new Ukrainian cinema. And she produced a film with her partners, 𝗙𝗶𝗵𝗲𝗄, which I don't know if it's also going to be at the 𝗪𝗶𝗃 in Cannes, or if it maybe already was there last year. But for me, this film 𝗙𝗶𝗵𝗲𝗄 is like an icon of new Ukrainian cinema, because Ukrainian cinema was for decades kind of like locked in also by the Western world into this dark Tarkovsky corner, and there was very little space for Ukrainian cinema to breathe and to also find color and find light, find deep lightness. And 𝗙𝗶𝗵𝗲𝗄 is such a film. It's a miracle masterpiece movie, and Natalia produced it. And Natalia is now going to be in Cannes with her new film called When We Were 15, I think is the working title. A work in progress, a debut of a friend of mine, of Anna, who I can't wait to see this film. And I think what earlier, sorry to go back through the questions you asked, but another question was what do Ukrainian filmmakers need? And as I understood, that a lot of financing, which was supposed to go into film, is now going to the army. For a good reason, right? No, none of us filmmakers complains about like, hey, come on, finish my film. Why are you buying ammunition with this money? Of course, we need to buy tanks, ammunition, and rockets to get the invaders out of the country. But because of this, a lot of films don't have any money anymore. And so I hope that through Cannes and other initiatives, films can be finished despite the war, and those stories can be seen and told around the world.
We spoke a lot about this big A festival in Cannes, which is obviously happening next week, but we are as well at a film festival in Frankfurt, the Lichter Film Fest. It's 15th edition, and it's a growing small festival, but it's really, I like it since the beginning. And we have as well in our region the Go East Festival, which was happening the week after Easter, which was focusing as well on the Ukraine. So let's talk about the Ukraine film festivals. Olga, what could you talk about? What could you tell us about Ukraine film festivals happening in all the month?
Of course, we're not like doing these film festivals this year, but I think the one that is probably the most well-known outside of Ukraine is Odessa Film Festival. And this year it's traveling to Sarajevo, I believe. And yes, it's an amazing event because it's really traditionally, it's the one that brings all the Ukrainian filmmakers together. Like, if you're shooting during it as a film festival and you need like some urgent replacement or like an add-on to your team, there is absolutely no chance because everybody's like always there. We have some amazing premieres during that festival usually, and it's really going year by year, more and more international. More people are getting involved, not just from countries that neighbor us, but sometimes we're even able to invite people from as far away as Korea, Japan. So that's a good dynamic for us, I believe.
Natalia?
I can, yes, I can add to this question. So we have in Ukraine, there are 3 major festivals that we have. One is a documentary film festival. It was supposed, it's in March every year. So this year it was not able to have it, obviously. And they agreed with 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 International Film Festival, also documentary film festival, to have a national premiere of Ukrainian documentaries in Krakow at the beginning of June. This is one thing. Another thing is Odessa International Film Festival, and Odessa has already announced 2 major moves that they're doing this year. First of all, it's about film premieres and the festival itself, and it will be done in cooperation with 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 International Film Festival in Pristina, not in Sarajevo. And the second part is film industry, about new films and about work in progress, and that would be done in cooperation with film industry of 𝗓𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 International Film Festival at the beginning of July. I have no information or no news from Molodist Film Festival, which was supposed to be the 51st or the 52nd edition this year. I think they still are in the way of finding a solution with other festivals, how to cooperate, how to move the premieres, on which programs, to which country, etc. So that's information I have as of now.
Mark, do you have contacts to your friends from Switzerland? What's going on there to help the Ukraine?
First of all, I'm surprised and happy that Switzerland is finally considering its neutrality. You know, Switzerland, not just from a filmmaker's perspective, but as a country, is starting to understand that neutrality is supporting the aggressor, and there's a big, you know, political change going on in Switzerland because there's a lot of Russian money and Russian companies and so on in Ukraine, in Switzerland. So, but from a filmmaker's perspective, I received a lot of, so there's a lot of like actually a co-production dialogue is developing. There's still no co-production treaty between Switzerland and Ukraine, as I understand, but there are more and more collaborations. Like one is, for example, the film 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, by a young Swiss filmmaker which was the Swiss film for the Oscars this year, which is a story about a Ukrainian gymnast who is joining a Swiss team. It's a very great story about the Ukrainian spirit, but it's a Swiss film, partly shot in Ukraine, about the Ukrainian main character. And then there are a lot of like private initiatives. People are, for example, this Youth for Ukraine project. A lot of Swiss filmmakers like helping to edit it, especially, and then also donating to initiatives. But on a broader scale, to be honest, I am not sure what the BAC, the Swiss Ministry of Culture, the Swiss Filmproduzentin is doing. I can sense that there is a strong awareness, but I don't know if there are big institutional support projects happening. I don't know. I'm more in Kiev, I think, than in Zurich from that perspective.
From the German news, I heard that the German film funding supports the Ukrainian film industry with a further 100,000 euros. I don't know if it's enough. The same amount has already, I think, been provided in March for the emergency fund for filmmakers of this worldwide initiative, International Coalitions for Filmmakers at Risk. And as far as I've heard, this money has already been used to support 110 Ukrainian filmmakers with sums between 500 and 1,500 euros, as I heard from the 𝗪𝗶𝗹𝗶𝗃𝗵𝗃 Medienförderung. Is it enough, or
no, of course it's not enough. Yeah, we had a talk last week with the European Film Academy, and they actually said we need to keep them filming, they need money to live. So you need a certain amount. I don't know. They said it's 400 euro a month. Maybe it's more. But if you want to keep 200 or 300 people working, you know what you need every month. So of course it's not just for that.
So what's on your urgent list at the moment from your initiative?
Okay, first of all, I would like to add something, because this is very important. We, the whole team of Filmmakers for Ukraine and 𝗓𝗏, are really gifted to work together and to get known this great Ukrainian people. That's really, it's a great experience, and we have to be thankful. We are living in times where the people see, let's see Trump, let's see Hungary, and let's see this war where we see democracy and our Freiheit. Sorry, ich bin zu müde. Freiheit. Freedom. It's not given. It's not given. Yeah. And I really hope that because I always put, I had a very, very, you can see it on my legs, I had a very terrible accident with 26. I was 1 year in hospital, and I learned to put focus on the good things, even if very, very bad things happen, and war is the baddest thing which can happen. So I think there are a lot of good chances, and at least that you can feel it, that Ukraine saves a little bit the spirit we need for European, for example. So it might sound a little naive, but I believe in that. So now to your question, what we are doing, actually, first of all, we finally founded an NGO on Tuesday, so it's possible for us to get the money, because we already, I think, 20 or 25,000. The Luxembourg Film Fund wants to give us in another association, so we can get this money. Second thing is we are preparing charity screening together with 𝗪𝗏𝗃𝗃 Technologies. Set this up and we have a lot of filmmakers from Ukraine who already filled the form to erreichen. Sorry, I'm really tired today. To make the application for the movie. The second thing is what Natalia said. It's very important that we collect productions who need help in funding, in finishing. So these are the two main things we are focusing on, and yeah, and the other thing is we try to get so much money as we can get, because now we are an NGO. We can use it and help directly. So.
And at the same time, thank you. Yeah, and at the same time, the guys are also providing a fantastic platform for Ukrainian filmmakers who are traveling abroad to be seen, and it actually gives us an opportunity to enter filmmaking market here. As well as they're constantly providing some informational supports like online masterclasses, seminars, and stuff like that, because once you're in this situation when you are far away from home and you have nothing to do, it really eats on you. So the fact that guys are actually able to help you bit by bit, get to know your colleagues in different countries, it's actually quite helpful, maybe more than they can realize that it is.
I forgot one project. We probably do together, hopefully, because the thank God, the Ukrainian refugees are allowed to work here. So, and of course they are professional filmmakers, but of course to work here, they have the language border, of course, but the other thing is that we work a little, every country works a little differently. So we have to give them the chance to be part of a German production, to see how it works here, to be able to get a job for normal money. So we are talking now for 3 weeks with 𝗖𝗍𝗴𝗏. This is the Tochterfirma.
The German broadcasting system.
Yeah, it's a
ARD,
Tochter from ARD, and they actually want, together with us, and probably Olga will be a kind of coordinator, try to, because they're doing 100 TV productions a year, so in the next 6 months they have 40 or 50, and we try to get around 40 or 50 Ukrainian refugees in their department where they're professional working in Ukrainian, to see how it works, and then, because the name of the thing is train to work, so it's not like you should be like a volunteer, you should look at it and then you can do your job in Germany as well. So this would be great if it will work out.
Thanks for this information. I'd like to add that the 𝗖𝗍𝗴𝗏 headquarters is also based in Frankfurt, where we are right now at the Hessische Rundfunk, but it works for whole of Germany. I think it's a good point that we show another of the short films from Mark. I think we should start film number 2, please.
So I'm a photographer. I do portrait photography for the most part and storytelling that kind of concentrates on individuals. I live in New York for the most part. I was born in Kharkiv. I work a lot in Ukraine as well. I usually spend a few months in Ukraine every year. The last project was called the Ukrainian Railroad Ladies. It's the ladies that stay in these cute little houses that are aligned along the tracks on the railroad. I was in Ukraine in January and in February working on some stories, and I came back to New York, I think 5 days before the war started. On the day when the war started, we were having dinner, and one of my very good friends, who's also Ukrainian, received some messages on his phone. That second, everything changed. I got back to Lviv yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. And it's been 20 days since the war started, or what? It was the strangest feeling to be in constant worry for my homeland, and then to be here and feel the sense of overwhelming calm. I feel like everybody's mobilizing whatever they can bring, and in my case, that's documenting and telling people stories. One is actually about the railways and this amazing effort of the Ukrainian railroad company to run these evacuation trains from the most besieged and war-torn cities to the west. Another one is about the maternity wards of hospitals that had to relocate. A lot of them are working in shelters or in the basements now.
What's the first thing you will do when the war is over?
I think just hugging people, knowing that
if you can, please donate to a charity called Save the Children Ukraine. As we know, children are the most innocent and most affected by this terrible war. Thank you.
I think let's just remain a minute in silence at this moment. Thank you. Mark, what can you tell us about the last short film you've seen?
Yeah, you know, Sasha is for me such an example of this fantastic spirit of resilience and in a way also rebellion, you know, to not accept what's going on. You know, Sasha lives a fantastic life in New York. You know, he's a very, you could see, you know, he photographed so many known people and 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and, you know, so he came back. He came back to he could stay in New York and continue his work and maybe even say, I donate half of what I'm earning to projects in Ukraine. But no, he felt also as an artist, and that makes it maybe also interesting for us filmmakers who are here together today, to come back to Ukraine and capture what's happening and document it for the world to see what is happening. That impressed me, his courage. You know, he was the first person who I knew who went back, you know, back to Kiev, this train station where the train is coming in, and you see Sasha there. He's waiting for a train to go to Kiev. We were in Lviv. I was in Lviv. I was afraid to go to Kiev. People were leaving Kiev, but Sasha was putting on his helmet, putting on his vest, and he went into Kiev. And I was so impressed and also inspired, you know, by his courage and his artistic resilience. Yeah.
Thank you. We haven't spoken about the children we now saw also on this short movie. And can you please, Mark, tell us what's going on today in Kiev, as you just came to town yesterday? How is the situation right now?
You know, we are aware that any minute a missile can hit any target in Ukraine, and Kiev is the capital of, you know, this crazy mad fantasy of the Kremlin and Russia is of course the main target. But when you are going out onto the street now, it's the warmest day today since this year so far, and you can just see that people reject to be afraid. They just continue life. The streets are pretty empty. There are a lot of, you know, mostly men. You see that many women and children are not in Kiev. They are in a safer place. But every day it feels, because the first, like yesterday, we came back to sleep here, to stay here. But in the last few weeks, we came a couple of times just for the day, you know, just for some meetings or to take care of something. But it's, and with every visit, you see less blog posts, less guns. But I also have to say that every time now I see a gun and I see a soldier, it gives me more a feeling of protection than a feeling of fear. Normally a gun is for me something I'm afraid of. I don't like to have people with guns walking around me. But now I like it when people with guns walk around me. So now really it turns back to normal on the surface. But we very much know that it's not normal, but I think it's part of the strategy. You know, we want to, I think it's important to be aware of the threat, to be honest that we are afraid, that we talk about our fears, but that we don't give in to it, and that we don't do Putin this favor of closing down, shutting up, running away. Yeah, and this is why I think what Oliver was talking about earlier, and what this idea to integrate Ukrainian filmmakers all around the world into actual projects. You know, that if you're a refugee, you don't want to be you don't want to be a victim waiting somewhere, even if you get maybe financial support. You want to work, you want to do something, you want to earn your money. My brother-in-law in Switzerland told me this the other day, that he is a bit worried about all the Ukrainians who arrive in Switzerland because they immediately start to work. One of the people they helped got a job as a psychologist, somebody else as an art teacher. And my brother-in-law is worried they should have a break, you know, take a breath. They've been through so much. But I think it's so important that you continue working, that you continue taking care of your life. And then one day, hopefully soon, take all this new knowledge, experience you gathered in Switzerland or wherever it is, or in Germany, and then go back to Ukraine and rebuild the country.
Thanks. Olga, can you tell us about your daily life in Berlin at the moment?
Yeah, like, but first I'd like to add something to what Mark mentioned. It's like they can throw bombs at us, but they cannot like bomb down the spirit, because one of maybe two of the scariest days that I've been in Kiev personally, I think it was like end of February, beginning of March. It was the first time that the curfew was over 24 hours, and our air protect system actually shut down a missile not too far away from where I was, and we stayed in the basement for the most part, and it was kind of this terrible feeling of not knowing what's going on about your head. But then the curfew is over, we walk out, of course we try to get some medicine, some food, like all the stuff that you need, and I'm in line to this grocery store, and I see a grandma in her 70s, in amazingly beautiful and clean dress and coat, with a handkerchief on her head, mascara, red lipstick, because she walked out to get some coffee. This is the important part, you know? So yeah, even though it was quite scary and stressful, we're still, you know, being true to who we actually are. And this is, I'm personally very proud of that. If we take back to my travel to Berlin, there are some things that, of course, are unusual because, for instance, German bureaucracy is complicated, let's say that, and it's also a very weird feeling to realize how progressive we actually were as a country, because everything that we do is now digital. All the documents are digital, all the processes are digital, and it was a quite nice discovery to realize that you're not actually behind a lot of European countries. It's a nice feeling that maybe coming here we can teach something to the European nations. Yeah, hopefully. I'm still hoping. Yeah, but the system is very different. Everything is very new, and I was lucky enough to have my friends by my side to kind of guide me through, and I think I took like the first couple of days to sort of like sleep and rest, and then yeah, the first thing I did, I sent my CVs to like 30 different companies trying to get a job. It's like it's in your DNA to try to go back to work immediately.
Right, but you are part of this initiative of Crew United, so what's your function, what you're doing next week, for example? Are you going to Cannes as well?
I'm not sure about Cannes, but I'm able to provide some translation, some informational support, and I'm being this kind of link between guys from Crew United and Ukrainian filmmakers, so I'm being able to collect the information and what are our needs and pass it on, and whether it's again like some need for a seminar or something, or it's a call to action from the front lines from our colleagues, and we're able to tackle tasks when they come and react quite fast.
But she's doing a great job, and she's so helpful. And she will be the coordinator for this digital project, because you need someone who do really this matchmaking between the refugees and the head of departments and the production managers in a very good way. So this will be a tough job, but a very important one. And we are very happy that we have Olga in our team now.
Thanks. To put out a little service section, where can we find films and documentaries online at the moment? You mentioned this Pantherflix collaboration.
We did not have started. We are in the process of setting up the streaming site and collecting the movies. We have to check the legal stuff, of course, if we are allowed to show it. So hopefully in the next 3 weeks after Cannes we will start, and it will be on our website as well. And hopefully everybody should spread it to collect money by watching Ukrainian films. That's a good way to spend the money.
Yeah, and actually some streaming services are still working and quite accessible from around Europe as well. So we have streaming service called Täglich that has Ukrainian projects. We have some TV shows on 𝗪𝗶𝗃 that you can see. So basically you can Google some like Ukrainian streaming and there will be a lot of content. And of course I cannot forget that you also can watch Ukrainian content on YouTube. You can watch Ukrainian bloggers and educate yourself on so many different topics.
We are, like I mentioned, at a film festival with a congress is called The Future of Film, and it might sound a little bit funny or strange, but I think we have to talk about some minutes about TikTok and the content which is on TikTok from the Ukraine, because it's a huge content. What's your opinion on that, Natalia? We have no sound at the moment, the micro?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's about content, right?
It's about TikTok.
Did you hear me?
The microphone wasn't on.
Yeah, but is it all right now?
Yep.
Okay. So the question is about content, right?
Yeah, I spoke about the huge amount of stuff which is on TikTok filmed in the Ukraine. What's your opinion on that?
I don't have TikTok.
Okay.
Me too.
I don't follow TikTok. I'm too old for that. But I can speak about Ukrainian content. Ukraine produces from 20 to 30 films every year. And if you go to the Ukrainian State Film Agency website now, they have annual reports. And this year they just published the number of films produced in Ukraine in 2021 and I think several years ago before. And right now we have around also 25, around the same number of films which are in post-production and would have been released this year or next year if there was no invasion, full-scale invasion in Ukraine. So the point is how to finish these films and also this one issue, because if we producers in the industry and the Ukrainian State Film Agency and all other national funds in Europe and festival funds and just other funds in Europe would get together and help us to finish films, that we're gonna have films enough for festival releases and also like territory releases, theatrical or VOD for 2022 and 2023. I think that's my personal forecast that would be enough to show films within these 2 years. The question is about 2024. To release a film in 2024, you have to either shoot film this year or next year to have films in development this year, like looking for financing, co-production partners, and etc. And it's not actually happening in full right now because we can't shoot in Ukraine. It's a huge risk. You can't put together a team to shoot film in the dangerous zone. You know, first of all, it's personal responsibility of a producer or producers to keep the team in safety and well paid. And the second point is that it's not possible to arrange actually. So filmmakers that now filming and they're in the front line, it's more about documenting the events and what's happening in Ukraine, and probably they will have their ideas how to put films together next year, but it's only documentaries. So several funds are helping now. I know that the Polish Film Institute has already announced a program for development of Polish-Ukrainian fiction films and also for documentaries and I think animation. And so it's one possibility. I'm also waiting for some announcements from the CNC and films and funds like World Cinema Fund, Gothenburg Film Fund, you know, funds related or connected to the festivals. So content is very important for us. Our stories are very important for us, not only because of the Ukrainian audience we want to keep going with, but also we want to have our stories out internationally and to have audiences or the audience acknowledge that we exist and we keep going.
Thanks. Oliver, this TikTok thing is interesting, I think, because there is this collaboration in Cannes as well. They do a really big collaboration, TikTok in Cannes, and there was as well like a mashup thing at the Go East Festival in Wiesbaden just a couple of weeks ago. What's your opinion on this vertical storytelling thing of TikTok?
The problem is I have to admit I'm not in TikTok as well. You know, I have to care for Facebook, Twitter. I have to care to spend a lot of time every day with this social media stuff. I have to. You're forced to actually, if you're a company or if you want to do charity work. So up today, I'm not in a position to say something serious about TikTok. But I think it's important because you get a lot of, especially young people, and for making them aware of that the world they are living in is not given, as I said, the freedom and the democracy. TikTok could be a helpful tool if you use it that way. So,
Mark, what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I'm also don't have TikTok. Okay. I don't, but I don't know. I'm a little bit exactly like Oliver said. I'm a little bit afraid of like one more app, and because I do have Instagram and Facebook, and somehow excites me. I have a certain addiction to it. I'm online too much, and it distracts me, and especially now in war times, searching for good news. So I'm a little bit afraid of TikTok. But I should look into it, especially if you are asking it here in this conversation. It makes it even more like I should check it out. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. I would like to give our audience here in Frankfurt the advantage to put a question on the panel. Just raise your hand, and we have a mic here. If you have a question, that's your chance to ask now. Please raise your hand for a moment. So, but there is at the moment there is no question. So I would think we should watch the last of the series of this film, short films from Mark at this moment.
We are sisters, Nicole and Michelle Feldman from Dnieper. We moved to Kiev and started to draw on the walls there. And 2 years ago, we made a cartoon which named 𝗖𝗹𝗴𝗏. It shows us people who love their life, freedom, and peace. All of us waking up of bombs, and I felt that it's a dream. We have to get up. In that day, we planned to have a premiere in the cinema. It was so horrible to hear news about Kharkov and Mariupol. You just can't believe that someone can die because they have no food or energy or water. Art, it's maybe like a voice in our mind. That's why it's very easy to paint something about the situation. That's all what we can do. First, we want very much to go outside and draw our things about all this on the walls, but I think we have to wait. It's dangerous. Our small new cartoons about war and peace.
We are collecting funds for doctors and medical help in the most damaged cities in Ukraine. All doctors from Irpin, Mariupol, Bucha, and Chernihiv. We are in direct contact with them to support doctors for medicals and materials. I feel that a lot of people who didn't know what is Ukraine now know and want to help. It's very good. Yeah.
Hashtag Youth for Ukraine. You can find it on every platform. Mark, could you perhaps add something to this content, to this short film?
For me, it's just a wonderful story how artists are able to digest their experiences through creativity. And it shows us again, you know, how powerful and helpful and you know, healingful art, culture, creativity is. Yeah, now maybe what I could add is that they're back in Kiev. I think they even started to also paint on walls on the street again. And yeah, are doing but they're continuing their cartoon about the man who is in love with his bomb.
Thank you. Olga, what do you hear from your friends and family who are in Kiev at the moment?
So yeah, my dad actually stayed back in Kiev to defend the city. So it was like out of the question for him at the time that he should like do everything to protect his hometown. Right now, he is still convincing me that it's too soon to go back. It's definitely more quiet than it was, let's say, even in March. The regions around Kiev that were heavily damaged are still not the safest places because the Russians left a lot of mines behind, and there was actually a story from my friends' neighbors who came back to Irpin, and the whole family died because Russians decided to mine their microwave. So they opened the door, and that was it. So the sheer, barbaric stuff that they do. So yeah, it's quieter, but it doesn't mean that it's safe to come back. It doesn't mean that it's time to relax. It doesn't mean that the worst part is over, and that's important to know. It's important to know that if you are safe now and you can do something from here, it's better to do something from here than go back.
Natalia, what's the situation right now in your hometown where you are now? This is the microphone, please. Okay.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
I am actually in Vilnius now, staying at my friend's house, my parents and my daughter and my cat are in Lviv, because my daughter and I, we were lucky to have her grandparents, my parents, living in Lviv, so we could fled Kiev, and we didn't need to look for a shelter or a place for a temporary feeling and united unity with the family all together in these times. As soon as we arrived, we started hosting my friends and friends of the friends who were traveling through Kiev abroad because of these evacuation trains. They were going like with the unstable schedules, and some of my people we hosted, they needed some overnight stay, like also secured and like warmth, and not just on the floor of opera house, which actually in Lviv, which actually hosted lots of replaced people, and I still hosting several theaters are still hosting them. So yeah, and we had airstrikes and several and shelling. Missiles actually hit the targets. It was like infrastructure around the airport, Lviv airport, and railway station, and also there was a rocket which hit some place between Lviv and Polish border, like 20 kilometers of Polish border, during the President Biden speech in Warsaw. And actually it was very scary for Polish people, and actually for the European Union people, because it was just so close to the border. So yeah, things like that. And yeah, the selling is continued, but you never know. That's the point. It's about uncertainty and a constant feeling of threat. You have to be very careful what you're doing. You have to make sure that your batteries of your phone and computer are more or less full, and it's important to know where are your loved ones and your relatives and your friends, and it's just this constant concentration about your physical and mental life. So yeah, that's the thing about new life in Ukraine.
Thank you. We are sending a lot of love and power to you from Frankfurt, from our film festival here, from our congress. Thanks for your time, Natalia, Mark, Olga, and Oliver, that you give us these insights from your life and the situation. And I hope a lot of people will donate money for the filmmakers and the people of the Ukraine. Defending freedom, support for Ukraine, that was our topic here in Frankfurt at this panel and online. I think you can also rewatch it on YouTube. Thanks again to you, Olga 𝗪𝗏. She works now for filmmakers from Ukraine, and that's also one of the targets of Oliver Zenglein, Crew United. And we had Natalia Libet and Mark Wilkins. Thanks to you. Have a good day and see you soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And Natalia, we meet in Cannes, hopefully. At least
yes.
for one drink, yeah? Okay.
Yes, let's do that. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Gerne. Vielen Dank auch das Publikum hier. Ich hoffe, es ist interessant gewesen, obwohl wir auf Englisch geredet haben, aber genau, also viel Spaß weiterhin auf dem Festival und auch teilweise auf dem Kongress, der noch bis morgen geht, und wir sehen uns im Kino at the Movies. Bis dann. Tschüss.